I'd now like to welcome Simon Laws, Programme Director for Mechanical Engineering. Hello.
Hi Daisy.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. So why should someone come and study mechanical engineering with us?
Great question. We've got a fantastically up-to-date facilities that I think are really exciting for students, and they're really designed for all of our students to get stuck in and use them throughout their degree program. So we don't have anything, hidden away behind doors that students can't regularly access. The program itself, being mechanical engineering, it's got a really broad really broad set of interests for students to come. The way our degree is set up, it's a great opportunity for people to come and discover what really excites them about engineering and mechanical engineering in particular. So we like to say that we've got kind of excellence across the board from the engineering sciences and the kind of more maybe for fundamentals of mechanical engineering, but then also lots of practice and hands-on and design. And we really try and structure our program so that we don't compromise one in order to give excellence in the other.
Brilliant. And could you tell me about some of the hands-on projects and placements that students can get involved with while they're here?
So throughout the degree, we've got a really strong engineering design theme that we pick up in first year, where we train students to use our machine shop and our rapid prototyping facilities. And really just in year one, they're already making parts and taking ideas from their head and into the real world. And we build on that throughout the degree program. So by the time they finish their degree, they're doing big group design projects where they're really trying to solve real world problems. So there's a lot of hands-on on the design side, but also engineering is a practical discipline, and if you're going to understand the way the world works and physical phenomena, you really need to be able to see that firsthand. So we've got some really excellent laboratory facilities that kind of support what we do in our engineering science modules. In terms of placements, we also have lots of students that go out for industrial placements now, which is a really exciting opportunity. These normally happen between the second and third year for our BEng students, that's Bachelor of Mechanical Engineering, or between the third and fourth year for our mechanical engineering students. And that year out in industry really transforms our students. They get a great sense of what it is that they want to do with their degree once they graduate.
Touching on the idea of placements, can you tell me a bit about the partnerships that the university has with industry and research institutions?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll start by saying there's too many to list.
Okay.
So rather than having like individual partnerships with major industrial partners, being a Russell Group university, being a department which has a really strong base of research active staff, there's lots of opportunities through particularly individual projects to be able to work at the cutting edge of science and engineering, but then those industrial connections as well help to inform our degree. Students who undertake our degree program can do a year in industry as part of their degree, and the way that works is that it would be a sandwich degree, so students would go off to a year in industry. If they're a bachelor student, so a BEng student, they would do that between the second and third year. If they're a master's student, they typically do that between years 3 and 4. We work with Jaguar Land Rover, with Rolls-Royce. We've got really strength within the department through our aerospace degree. And while mechanical engineers have a broader focus than our aerospace engineering students, that's not to say that we don't have lots of mechanical engineers go off into aerospace applications.
So it's quite transferable then?
Yeah, I think the same sort of core skills that we teach are definitely appropriate across a really wide set of sectors.
Brilliant, thank you. And you touched a little bit at the beginning about facilities and some of the state-of-the-art facilities and resources that we have here. Could you go into a bit more depth about that?
Absolutely. I'm really proud of the spaces that we have for our undergraduate students. So we have a student workshop with milling, turning, drilling, manual working, so all the different ways that you might work with metals. We've actually recently, just 2-3 years ago, made a big reinvestment in that facility to add computer numerically controlled, which is a bit of a mouthful, but a way of saying more cutting edge, more industrial-like manufacturing processes, so that students can see not just how they might make a part by hand manually, which is a great way to learn, but not really how people are making components these days. And we partner that with rapid prototyping, so 3D printing, and we've been investing over and over in that in the last with our degree program, and we've now got what we'd call our Fab Lab. So that's roughly 50 low-cost 3D printers that our students can come and use, and it's not just for their undergraduate teaching. They can come along and use them for their own projects and interests. It's free at the point of use, so it's a great way of getting students excited about, I've had a good idea, how can I get that into the real world?
So there's lots of opportunities to just explore, basically.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And, you know, we reinforce that through the teaching that we do in the degree, but that, you know, there's nothing quite as good as a student having their own interests that they want to explore. And maybe the final piece of that puzzle we're just introducing this year is we've made a big investment in a virtual reality teaching space. So we've got 40 high-performance PCs with high-end spec virtual reality headsets and some really specialist software that help us teach in that environment. Because anyone can buy a VR headset, but having a setting in which you can actually use that for education has been, you know, a much bigger challenge for us to overcome. We're super excited to start having more and more applications in that area.
Yeah, so I can imagine that it's a very fast-moving area. And how does the university stay up to date with all of the changes in technology?
So I think as mechanical engineers, we're definitely always interested in what the next technological development's going to be. So we're all kind of already thinking about what's the next great thing that we can bring to our students. But we also work with our student bodies and, as I say, our industrial advisory board to say, well, you know, what do we need to be bringing? What's going to be that most important piece for our students going forwards?
And how does the department make sure that students are then prepared to go out into the job market and for their placements by the time they finish?
So firstly, mechanical engineering, it's a very vocational discipline, and the program's designed in a way that our students will get a lot of skills that are, you know, great transferable skills and a really good portfolio that they can take in lots of different directions. I talked a bit about the industrial placements that many of our students go on. You know, nothing will prepare a student for the world of work quite as well as having gone out and got that experience firsthand. But we also do lots of work with the careers team. We run events, opportunities for alumni students to come in and talk about their experience in industry. We do quite a lot of work in what we would call engineering management, this kind of maybe more business-focused area of engineering discipline. So we're already talking about, well, what does industry need you to do? What skills do you need to have beyond being a capable engineer? How do you work out there in business?
Brilliant. Thank you so much. It's really interesting to hear all about it.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Check out the website for more information about this subject.